Could this be the last film in the DCEU? Well, I guess they went out with a bang. Let's review The Flash. The Flash stars Ezra Miller, Michael Keaton, Ben Affleck, and is directed by Andy Muschietti. What's up, guys? The new Flash movie is out. I saw it last night at a press screening, and this is one I definitely wanted to let percolate a little bit. And I walked out of the theater elated. I had a blast with this movie, first and foremost. You can separate your popcorn entertainment with your, I guess, critical filmmaking thinking. There's a lot of really fun and great things about this movie. And I think the first thing that people are going to think about with this movie, obviously it's The Flash, but you can already see Michael Keaton's Batman is in this. Look, they knew what they were doing when they were marketing this movie. Ezra Miller is not in the best light these days, you know, given all the stuff that's going on behind the scenes. So I think it was very smart for them to actually promote, I guess, their big gun, Michael Keaton as Batman. That is in the trailer, so I can say that here. The first thing out the gate is, are they utilizing Michael Keaton like you want them to, or is it just a quick little fan service type thing? And I can tell you right now, Michael Keaton, his Batman is a major part of this movie. And I was just having a blast experiencing it. I just went through watching Batman 89, Batman Returns. 89 is really great because of Jack Nicholson. But I think Batman Returns is the better movie in so many different ways. Yeah, you're not going to compete with Jack Nicholson in terms of being a villain. But everything else, you know, if you break it down to 10 different factors, you know, about movie making, I think Batman Returns is the better movie. So much. But I'm glad I gave both these movies a fresh watch before watching this movie, because I couldn't help but think about those movies as I was watching it. That's how much Michael Keaton is a big part of this movie. Even from his intro in the movie, which I won't spoil, but I loved it. I love the way they introduced the character. You know, there's a little bit of a question mark there. Like, what's going on here? I got to process this. It's an action scene as it's going on. I sat up in my seat. I was like, yes, this is awesome. First off, before I get ahead of myself, let's give you a quick plot synopsis. This takes place, I think, shortly after the Justice League. It might even be a couple years after. But quickly we realize that the main focus here is that Barry Allen has a lot on his mind. His mother died when he was really young. His father's in prison. And, you know, he wants to get his father, prove him innocent, you know, because he's in the criminal justice system now. Something happens early in the movie that kind of sparks his interest. He learns of a new power that he has that would actually take him back to the past. So he ends up going back to the past and running into a younger version of himself. And really, this is where the movie becomes so freaking fun. You would think that this movie is about fan service. No. There's a lot of that in this movie, but what makes it great is just the notion of, you know, running into your younger self. And I'm not going to lie, you automatically think of Back to the Future. Big time in this movie. It feels like one of those 80s comedies that is just so fun. It's hilarious at times. Ezra Miller is really great in this. He's really funny. I think humor-wise, there are a couple of awkward moments here and there. I don't think my audience, because I saw this at an advanced screening with a big crowd. Yeah, they were interactive with the movie. They were laughing at all the appropriate beats, but there were a couple of beats where there wasn't much laughter when it was clear that there was a joke there. But luckily that stuff is few and far between, and really the heart of the story is quite profound, actually. You know, this deals also with that question of, if you could go back in time and change things, and at face value, it sounds like it would be a really great thing. But then you start asking yourself all these questions like, is it a good thing? You know, is my path now here for a reason? Everything that's happened, all the tragedy that's happened in my life, it shaped me into the person I am today. And really, that's kind of the message of this movie. And I think that's why this is going to be a big hit. And I think it's going to resonate with a lot of people, because we all have, you know, the dark stuff in our past. We've all had our own struggles. And it's true, that stuff makes us who we are today. It forms us, and we can either take that and make a better life out of it, you know, maneuver, figure out a way, or we can take it and send us even further down into the abyss. And I was surprised by how important that theme was in this movie. Andy Muschietti does such a great job directing this, just putting this story together and really making you forget about what you think you're going to this movie for, and really making you focus on the charm and the likability of Barry. And, you know, his struggle in this movie. He does have an arc, a big time arc. There are a couple of jokes that I wish to God I could like say right now, because especially one that I was just getting such a kick out of, but I want you guys to just experience it and enjoy it for yourself. This is a spoiler-free review. But there's so much that I could do a spoiler review on this that I might end up doing that. And it sucks. This movie doesn't come out, I think, for another like week and a half. But it's so freaking fun. Also, action-wise, there's some great next-level type action stuff in this, especially in this desert terrain type area in the last act of the movie. If you've seen the trailer, you know that Zod is in this. Of course, he's a major part of this movie, a major villain. Jumping into the cons a little bit, though, I will say Michael Shannon in Man of Steel he feels different in that movie than he does in this. I think in this one, it felt like he was kind of phoning it in. I mean, I would even wager that his entire being in this movie is pretty much CGI. I could be wrong on that, of course. I mean, the face definitely looks older, so they use his face. Yeah, just little quirks like that it didn't take me out of the movie. It didn't bother me at all, because I don't think the main focus of this movie is Zod. You know, the main focus is Barry Allen, of course. And we got to talk about Supergirl. Sasha Calle, you know, I think that her portrayal of Supergirl is really great. I don't think I even watched the original Supergirl with Helen Slater. I've seen bits and pieces of it. Helen Slater, you know, she embodies that character quite well. But man, this is next level. Really, this is kind of like the jump from Christopher Reeve to Henry Cavill. And guys, don't take that as me saying that Henry Cavill is better than Christopher Reeve. I'm just talking about, I guess, a time period, you know, the 70s versus the modern day. That's all I mean. You can't replace Christopher Reeve. He really was my first superhero icon. I looked up to Christopher Reeve so much when I was a kid. First movie I ever saw in the theater when I was 6 years old was Superman 2. So don't think that I'm saying that. I'm just saying generation-wise. Sasha Calle, she kind of steals a lot of the show in this movie when she's on screen. Not saying that she takes everything away from Barry Allen, but she's an integral part of this movie, and you don't really miss the male Superman. As far as like her taking up the mantle of the Kryptonian type figure in this, I think that's a given. Now, I touched a little bit on the CGI with Zod, but really, I think the CGI doesn't feel completely finished in some of the scenes. I had heard that before I saw the movie, but I will say after watching the movie, it didn't bother me really that much. Of course, I would have loved the CGI to look more real, but I mean, when you look at human CGI these days, even like the best stuff, like say in the Marvel movies, isn't like you still automatically know that's CGI, okay? This was maybe like a step down from that, if I'm being honest. I'll just say it wasn't enough to make me go, oh my God, it's taking me completely out of the movie. Not at all. I was still completely zoned in, and I think that's just because of the story. I was really into the story that was being told. And it's just very satisfying. It's fun. It's hilarious at times. And Ezra Miller, you know, this whole thing rests on his shoulders. And you know what? He's a great Flash. You know, take what you want from that, but he's a great freaking Flash. So, yeah. So I'm giving this a super, super high purchase worthy. It's not as good as Across the Universe, but I think it's still highly, highly enjoyable. And Michael Keaton's Batman is insanely awesome. So anyway, guys, when you see this movie, let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts on this one. I think a lot of people are going to be talking this movie after it comes out. Also, be sure to come over to Killer Flicks, where we talk horror all day and every day. And on Fridays, we do Free for Fridays. Follow me at Drumdums on my social, support me on Patreon, buy me a coffee. And guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and Drumdum out.